Hey guys, Charles Float here, and this is my presentation on SEO for 2016. This video is a really long video, so in the description below I have put some timestamps so that you can skip forward certain parts of the video. You know, if you're a more advanced user, then maybe the what is SEO part is probably not going to be for you because you already know that stuff. I've also included a glossary, a huge glossary, over 5,000 word glossary in my on my blog, which is the blog post that's attached to this video. So you can click that in the link description below, and I will see you in the first part of this video. So SEO is an abbreviation for search engine optimization. It's essentially the process of editing a website itself or building links to a website. So if, for example, you were to submit an article to Reddit, then that would be classed as a link from Reddit to that article. So that would be a backlink, that's off page. Or editing your website is on page. It's essentially the process of ranking a website in a search engine such as Google. So that's where search engine optimization comes from. You're optimizing your website and you're optimizing other people's websites to link to you to rank higher in Google and other search engines as well, such as Yahoo, Bing, etc. Though most of them are going to be optimized to rank in Google, and this video specifically will be targeting the ranking process in Google. Now, Google's released several updates to their algorithm, which is what determines how you rank in Google. It's updates such as Penguin, which looks at your links, Panda, which looks at your on-page, and several other updates as well. The entire algorithm originally was just based on links, so that's where it came from. That's how it was developed, and that's how Google grew into such a big powerhouse, is because no other search engine used links as their significant way to rank websites at the time when it was first released, back in the 90s. Now, SEO as a whole is a very complicated and technical process, but it can be really easily broken down into stages, and people have become experts in those specific stages. Some people are really good at on page, some people are really good at off page, some people are really good at specific parts of off page, some people are really good at specific parts of on page, and it all helps overall. And it's a really good idea to get a broad knowledge of every part of SEO. So in SEO, you have two different kinds of hats. You have a white hat, which is someone who follows the Google guidelines that they release quite strictly, and you also have someone who is a black hat SEO who does the complete opposite and doesn't care what Google says they should do and manipulates Google to rank. I am kind of in the middle of this, so I'm a grey hat SEO. I'm someone who does a bit of both. I'll do white hat content marketing style of SEO, which is where you build large amounts of content and do on-page optimization so that your piece of content would attract links and then help you rank in Google, as well as your on-page doing all kinds of sorts of work within Google. You also have black hat, which I frequently do as well, which is where you build link networks, you build links from all sorts of places, and often you sometimes spam as well, so you spam links from all over the place. Both techniques work, and both techniques have always worked. It's just that black hat SEO is starting to get harder, and due to updates such as Penguin, Panda, etc., it's becoming a lot harder for a lot of people. And you will have recently seen that a lot of people who used to be six-figure, so that will be millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, SEOs, have fallen off and are probably living off of their savings due to these kind of updates, because they can no longer rank with normal spam. So now that we've covered all the basics, we're going to go into, right now, SEO is easy. And this is where that glossary of terms that I recommended for some of the newer readers will come in real handy. If you don't understand a word I say, simply pause the video, head over to the glossary, and you'll be able to simply go through all of the different words that I have put in this video. Now, right now, SEO is really easy. In the next few months, however, that's not going to be the case whatsoever. We've got Rolling Penguin coming out, we've got the domain industry shaking up with people scraping domains from all over the place, which means that you can't pick up domains that you used to previously be able to get, because a lot of them are already gone in use, or a lot of them have been currently being collected as soon as they drop. So it's really hard to even find a good domain for your websites that you want to actually rank nowadays. We also have natural progression, which is where artificial intelligence comes into play. Things like artificial intelligence are getting a lot better and a lot faster just because of how we are progressing with the internet and with technology in general. We also have content size being a big problem, which is where the amount of content previously recommended on the internet, so the amount of content that people would normally produce 5, 6, or even 10 years ago, has massively increased in comparison with today. Everyone is now everyone is now creating pieces the same size that Wikipedia used to create, and that's exactly why Wikipedia ranks so well within Google and get so much traffic from Google every single day and even every single minute at some points. There's also the Panda improvement, which is again linked to that natural progression with artificial intelligence getting up, and with the algorithm changes, and with mathematicians being even smarter and etc. Panda is going to get massively improved, which means that your content, again linked to the content size, is going to have to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever. So instead of me making predictions about what I feel is going to happen over the next few months, let's focus on the information that we have at hand now so that we can focus on ranking websites right this second. So as a little disclaimer for you guys, I mainly focus my attention to black hat marketing, especially black hat SEO. That's kind of my more speciality, if you like. And if you are running a small business or a medium business or an affiliate business or something, generally black hat SEO is going to be better for you purely because white hat SEO requires one of three things, or even all of the above. It requires a hell of a lot of time if you don't have the money, which is part number two. So it requires a lot of time to create content, to get link opportunities, to work on the technical aspects of your on-page, etc. Two, either if you don't have enough time, then it will require a hell of a lot of money because you need to be able to pay really good staff to write lots of content, to create lots of content. You have to pay people to go out and build links for you, etc. Or number three, it requires a team, and most people who will be watching this video don't have their own in-house SEO team or don't have their own SEO team at hand. So this is why I'm going to be focusing mainly on black hat SEO, though we will get into white hat SEO towards the end of this part of this video.
So the first bit of information that I thought I'd show you guys is that anchor text, which is the clickable text in a hyperlink or a link that is on a website, are easing up. That essentially means that anchor texts such as exact and partial match anchors have become a lot more heavily focused when Google looks at ranking a website. If you look at this case study that I have here in this infographic on the left, this is done by Ahrefs, which have been doing some absolutely fantastic data-driven case studies recently. You'll see that the exact and partial match anchor text for keywords that have been, so an anchor text from a backlink, have slowly been increasing. So the more exact match and the more partial match keywords that are found within the backlink profile of a link means generally the higher the SERP position has gone in relation to this percentage here. So what I am saying, or what Ahrefs is saying, is basically that the best anchor text ratios right now for 2016 are 13% exact, 24% partial. Now that's kind of on path with what I was going with. That's kind of down the route that I was heading down anyway. And I thought that it was really quite interesting to see that Ahrefs actually looked at the top positions for 20 keywords for the top 20 SERP positions for over 14,000 keywords, and found that this kind of percent had been rising across the board for quite a long amount of time. You'll remember that when Penguin came out, if you were around in SEO and Penguin came out, that Penguin was extremely heavily going after this kind of high levels of anchor text usage. And slowly over the last few months, or last year even, I and various other people in the community have seen that actually it's going the other way. So anchor text has been becoming a lot more influential when it comes to ranking a website. So it's actually getting easier for us guys to build those exact match and those partial match links to rank specific pages or specific websites that we want to go and rank out there. So that's one thing that has been really good for us guys, is that anchor texts are easing up a lot, are getting a lot easier to use in 2016. So another very good bonus for people wanting to do SEO in 2016 on the website is that good links are available, and this is something that I think is going to become more and more relevant and more difficult to acquire over the next coming years, is actually getting good quality links that you can either buy, purchase, or actually build right now, because a lot of websites are either no following links, or a lot of websites are going off the paid link schemes kind of against it because of Google's propaganda about how buying links can actually hurt your website. So that's something that's really good right now, is that there are so many vendors out there, such as people like Todd Foster or Digsy Marketing, etc., that offer really high quality links for a rather cheap price in comparison to what I think that price should be at or will be at in a few months or in a year's time, just purely because of how valuable those links are going to become. Links have always kind of been the backbone of websites and ranking in Google, and that's something that I think is going to continue to happen for the next few years until Google gets artificial intelligence really unlocked, which we will discuss later on in this video. But right now, good links are available and they are out there, and there are various SEO vendors, and I actually have a list inside my affiliate SEO course that tells you all about the best vendors used for specific links. So recently, in the last few months and even the last year or so, content has been really getting even bigger and even more of an effect on people's websites. I've seen people's posts and people's talking about all sorts of content being the key to ranking. And if you look at people like Ryan Stewart from Webris, he's been using content purely to rank sites like his Laces Out example. That kind of thing is a prime example of how you can use high levels of content and unique content and very small numbers of pages in comparison to the amount of content that you have to be able to rank a website and build an authority site very quickly. For example, if you had 10 sites with 2,000 words on it, that site is going to be seen as more of an authority than if you have 100 pages with 500 words on them. But if those 500 words have a few, if they're not unique, if it's all interlinked, etc., it's not going to be nearly as valuable as the first example that I gave. And that's something that I think is really important at the moment, and especially something that I've been seeing a lot more of in this way that I build out websites, is that I start off my websites with a content foundation. So I don't even look at links, I don't do research into anything. I just literally start off by building a ton of content for that website, and I'll already see a very large amount of rankings coming back from that because of the way that kind of how Google looks at content. And especially at the moment, how Panda really isn't that powerful. I think Panda eventually is going to be the bane of all SEOs compared to Penguin is now, just purely because Panda is going to actually be able to see how good a piece of content is. But currently, Panda does not have that level of artificial intelligence that will actually be able to read if a piece of content is good or not. It just kind of looks at the word usage, keyword usage, the overall size of the document, image usage, rich media usage, etc. It doesn't actually know if that document is a really solid piece of content. And I know that because I put out really crappy pieces of blog posts that are 10,000 words on some of my affiliate websites, and they rank for very large keywords. So right now, if you can build large amounts of content very quickly, you'll be able to rank purely off the back of that for medium competition keywords anyway. So Google do a very good job of building a complete and utter propaganda machine to completely discredit Black Hat SEO, when if you actually look in the SERPs for most affiliate keywords or even a lot of the bigger brand keywords and things, you'll actually see a lot of Black Hat SEO at play. Any big keywords generally will have someone or some organisation out there doing some kind of Black Hat SEO to rank a page for and to be able to send traffic to it and make money from it. Google, like I said, do a very good job at propaganda against that, purely because Google do not want people knowing that Black Hat SEO works, because it will hurt their advertising revenue when it comes to AdWords. However, as someone who uses Black Hat SEO on an almost daily basis, and I actually use it to make a lot of money, I know that it does work, and that it will continue to work for an extremely long amount of time. However, previous tactics that we used to use maybe 5 or 6 years ago do not work anymore. You have to change your mindset and change the tactics that you're using to be a successful Black Hat in 2016. It's no longer about spamming a ton of links or anything like that. Maybe it is when it comes to Parasite SEO, but not so much when you're ranking your own domain, a new domain, or an age domain, regardless. It's more about fooling Google into thinking your site has natural links. So rather than spamming a ton of links like we did before, we have to actually fool Google into making them believe that our website is a trusted authority source of information. And that isn't as easy as it is said. And that's something that I have become, I think at least, very good at. I've looked into how to make trust signals, and I'll put a link in the description below so you can look at trust signals. I've looked at how to build links that look very natural. I've looked at large amounts of content. I've looked at making the on-page look natural, but at the same time still using on-page trickery to be able to actually get the rankings that you want to get in the first place. It's all becoming very, very different from how the industry was a number of years ago, and that's why a lot of people who used to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or even per month have completely fallen off the face of the planet now, because that no longer works as well as it used to. It does work sometimes, and it can still work in certain scenarios, but it does not work as nearly as effectively as it used to for very large keywords, or you will just get penalised within a number of weeks rather than the previous ranking for a number of months. So I think if you are wanting to do Black Hat SEO, then look up modern information. Do not look at information from a year plus ago even, because it's going to be out of date. You are going to be wanting to look at information that is as recent as possible when it comes to Black Hat SEO, because White Hat SEO can essentially stay the same for a number of years, whereas Black Hat SEO does rapidly change with every Google update and every new kind of tactic being penalised by Google. And as I said before, White Hat really doesn't change all that much, but right now White Hat is easier than ever. It's so easy to do, purely because all you have to do is a large amount of content, a large amount of pages. Essentially, you just need to invest a lot of time rather than money into White Hat SEO. Investing a lot of time into creating content, into creating imagery, social data, even doing things like free backlinks and link trading. Even though people say link trading is Black Hat SEO, you can do link trading in a way where it is seen as White Hat. For example, if you are doing a competition for someone, you sponsor a prize, they'll give you a link in return for that prize. Now, you're not actually doing that to get that link, you're doing that more so to get the audience behind that link to go through to your website. But at the same time, you do get a very powerful link from bloggers and such around the world. And that's something that I've been using a lot recently, as well as just on-page structure being very good, using things like silo structure, using good metadata, using good sitemap structure, etc. All those kind of things make White Hat SEO really, really easy right now to pull off. All it takes is large amounts of content, large amounts of unique pages, and a lot of good structure. And you'll pretty much rank for most keywords you go after in any niche. Obviously, if you're going after bigger niches like weight loss and things, they're going to be very competitive. It's going to be very hard to rank for. But if you're going after medium competition niches, as I said earlier about Ryan Stewart as a great example with his Laces Out site, he went from pretty much 0 to 6,500 monthly organic visitors purely from building very large amounts of pages and getting them indexed quickly. And getting those pages obviously with large amounts of rich media on them, large amounts of content, well-written content, etc. All those kind of things make it a lot easier to do SEO right now when it comes to White Hat SEO. But what about when it comes to the rest of 2016? What is 2016 got in store for us? And what are we going to have in store for 2016 when it comes to us SEOs actually fighting back against the raging machine that is Google? Well, there's a few topics that I want to cover, so let's just jump straight into them now. The first one I wanted to cover was Rolling Penguin, which is something that Google have been absolutely not releasing anytime soon. I do not think so, because they have just continually been delaying it over and over again. I'm not even sure at this point if it is going to come out in 2016, so we will have to wait and see what's in store for us when Rolling Penguin does come out. Regardless though, I've already voiced my thoughts on Rolling Penguin, but I'll voice them again for this video specifically. I do not think that Rolling Penguin is nearly as much as a threat as Rolling Panda is. Rolling Penguin essentially just looks at your anchor text profiles, looks at the links you're getting, the websites you're getting links from, looks at trusted websites as a trust signal to make sure you get links from them, which all three can be very easily manipulated when it comes to black hats. And when it comes to White Hat SEO, doesn't really matter all that much at all. The thing about Rolling Panda is that I think Rolling Panda is going to affect a lot of SEOs and a lot of affiliates and a lot of marketers very badly, purely because they don't want to spend huge amounts of money on content, but they want huge amounts of content. So once Rolling Panda comes out and they can actually have some kind of AI that looks at a piece of content and sees that that piece of content is not a good piece, and then you have all these huge amounts of content that people invest a lot of money into, your site's going to get screwed. That's something that is very, very scary in comparison to something that looks at essentially 3 factors when it comes to link building, and all those 3 factors can be very easily manipulated, whereas content, you need to invest very large amounts of money even to get a single piece of very good content that is going to be large, over 2,500 words or something. On average, that kind of huge amount of content that's going to be very good will probably cost you about $50 per 500 words, and that is something that a lot of SEOs are very fearful of, because $50 per 500 words sounds like a hell of a lot of money. Next up, I think the domain industry is going to get really quite heavily affected in 2016, purely because of the high amounts of scraping that went on last year, the year before, and this year. I've already seen the effects of it with my domain business, which is authority.domains. We are finding it extremely difficult to find domains under the .com niche, even with scraping from 5 dedicated servers with a lot of scrapers on them. It's just becoming essentially nearly impossible to be able to scrape those kinds of domains anymore in the .com market. That's why we focus generally with our .co.uk clients, because it's easier and less affected by the large amounts of scraping that people have been doing, as well as the fact that extensions are just becoming en masse. So we have probably about 200 more extensions than we did have 3 years ago, which is a hell of a lot of extensions. And that's going to continue to scale with more and more extensions getting added on, and the value of domains becoming a lot less over time because of the amount of extensions there are and the amount of domains that will be available. So I think domains are actually going to I think .com domains and such as those are going to become even more valuable, whilst I think other extensions are going to decrease in value over a very large amount of time. And we've also seen across the marketplace people not being able to fulfill domain orders that they're advertising, purely because scraping has become so difficult. Domains in terms of SEO is going to be even more so difficult, purely because domains are just going to become abundant in terms of different extensions, but the actual value behind them is going to decrease over a large amount of time because there's so many links available and not enough domains. So I've been talking about AI and this, even though I put algorithmic intelligence, I was more so on about artificial intelligence mixing in with the algorithm in this post. But natural progression of computers getting better, artificial intelligence getting better, will mean that it's going to be a lot harder for us guys to rank using black hat techniques. White hat SEO is also going to become more difficult because you can't be using things like guest posts and stuff, because Google will be able to recognise what kind of a link you actually have and what kind of website it's coming from and how that website actually got inserted. So for example, if you have a tool that like GSA or something that can go and build links on Web 2.0s, etc., then why would an AI not be able to work out that all those websites you can actually input the link into, rather than someone who owns that website has put the link on, so that becomes a lot harder to get there, if that made any sense whatsoever. So the natural progression of artificial intelligence is going to be something that is going to play a huge role in SEO, and that's why you'll see on my Twitter and on my Facebook me sharing so many articles about artificial intelligence, because not only does it interest me extremely, but I think it's going to play an extremely big role in Google rankings in the years to come, and even in YouTube rankings as well. We've seen things like the caption bot be able to look at people actually speaking and decide what that video is about. That's going to be extremely scary when it comes to YouTube ranking as well, and all these different things are going to affect us massively in the years to come, and especially in the next year, because I think 2016 is going to be a very big year for artificial intelligence, and as you have seen with Google's DeepMind challenge beating that Go player, it's going to be even more interesting when all these things hit the shelves. So recently an engineer at Google said that content and backlinks were the main 2 factors when it comes to Google ranking a website. Well, that's pretty obvious if you're an SEO, but I think more so is the content size than content itself. So making a page that is 5,000 words and making sure it's decent content, it doesn't have to be good quality, it doesn't have to be really high quality, just making sure it makes sense and is readable and actually is unique. I think that content is extremely valuable in comparison to a 1,000 word blog post of extremely good writing, and I've actually seen that when it comes to ranking websites, because I managed to outrank brands for their own keywords using large amounts of content. For example, a brand page having 200 words and mine having 10,000 words, it just naturally means that you're going to outrank them, as well as a lot of bigger keywords and stuff, meaning that you can push it through to them, as well as stealing their links, etc. That becomes even more valuable, but I'm kind of going off topic here of the content size. 2016 for me personally has been all about the year of content size, and that is something that I think is going to progress and carry on in the rest of the year, because I don't think they're going to be making a rolling Panda update anytime soon. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and it gave you a bit more of an insight into my thoughts on SEO for 2016. As with every year in SEO, you've just got to carry on, keep on learning, keep improving, and keep on making sure your tactics and your techniques are as up to date with the Google algorithms as possible. Don't forget you can join my email newsletter in the link below, and you get a free 7-day SEO course to your email. Every day you get a different topic in SEO and you'll be able to learn, and I update it about every 2 weeks or so that you get the most relevant information right now. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Charles Float and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.